Yesterday. Yesterday is lost. Um, so, uh, first off, Right Club. So it's Tuesday, so it's Right Club Day. Um, Last week, we had uh, name a first-person shooter based on the works of Jane Austen. I got a bunch of good ones. Um, uh, I got some really silly, stupid ones, and I consider that you know uh, how you shoot the moon in what is it, Bridge or Hearts or where you go for the long shot. You say, I'm gonna get all the face cards, and normally face cards are bad, but if you get all of them, then you win. Um, that's what some people are trying, and I don't discourage it. You got three chances where um, we go past like dumb into super awesome dumb, right? So so there's that. I'm not saying any of these are super awesome dumb. I'm just saying sometimes they get really silly. Second, a number of people just sent me one answer. Um, Remember, you get 3 tries. So there's nothing wrong with sending me one answer, but you're kind of throwing away 2 tries, right? So there are lots of times where I'm like, okay, I came up with these 4 things, and I think number 2 is awesome, and number 4 is terrible, but I threw it in anyway because who knows? And everybody is like, 4 is the best. What are you talking about? So uh, don't throw away everything but your one shot. You got 2 other shots. Sometimes your first instinct is not always your best instinct. Sometimes it is. Take the shots. So good ones that I got in no particular order. Northanger Abbey, Heretics Unleashed. There's a colon in between that. So I like that because Abbey is monks and heretics are bad monks. So I see this big battle of crazy monks in an abbey shooting each other or casting spells or what have you. Emma, colon, enemy mega mech airship, which doesn't exactly fulfill the the first person shooter thing, but the idea of a giant mecha game that is based on the works of Jane Austen is just kind of too awesome. So I like that one. Anarchy and Sensibility. That's the opposite of Sense and Sensibility. Sense, Sensibility, and Senseless Violence. Sense and Sensibility. All of those senses. You're using exactly the kind of repetition that Jane Austen liked. So it's, and especially Sense, Sensibility, and Senseless Violence, just one-ups Jane herself. Darcy Nukem Forever doesn't. I don't think we have the IP for Duke Nukem, and they'd probably sue us, but I thought it was funny. And finally, Killzone Persuasion, which amused me because I imagined the way that these Edwardian people persuaded each other was with kill zones. So those, if That's not to say yours were not good if I didn't read yours. It's just those I picked as I quickly went through things and copied and pasted. So, that done, let me switch to this section of the class. We are in O2 now, and I am going to go to assignments, and I am going to make Right Club number 3 live. And then I'm going to share the screen. Boop, boop, boop. Share screen. Right Club number 3, share. And go to Alt H, and now I have chat. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, okay. One of the things that game writers need to do all the time is name things. It's not sexy. It's not amazing. You're not going to get a BAFTA for it, but it has to be done. So you might spend the first month of your contract banging out the story, and then what do you do for the other year, right? You name stuff. Especially in item heavy games. So at one point, I was working on an action RPG, a Diablo kind of thing. And they said, we need 50 names for hats. Give me 50 hats. And that was my day. Sitting there, coming up with 50 hat names. And the, +2 hat wasn't cut it because they could do that, right? So I got through the first 10, 15, no problem. The helmet of offensiveness or whatever. The chapeau of stuff, whatever. I got to the do-rag of dexterity, and I thought I was losing my mind, because how many hats, I got my thesaurus out, right? What's a synonym for hat? And I used every single thing in this thesaurus. So here, you are going to name a wearable or equipable item. Yes, I see. What's an MMO? A massively multiplayer online, like World of Warcraft, like Knights of the Old Republic, like well, heck, even nowadays, Diablo 3 would count, right? Dark Age of Camelot. I play Dungeons and Dragons Online or Lord of the Rings Online. Are they even making MMOs nowadays? Elder Scrolls Online, yes. Nowadays, it's all kind of Apex and battle royales. I see. Guild Wars 2 is still going. Final Fantasy 14 is the big one nowadays. Yes. Okay. So it's that kind of loot drop kind of game. The game itself doesn't matter that much. Just imagine you're making a video game where you get lots of stuff. And it is set in the American Civil War. My example is Sherman's Marchers. It evokes the American Civil War, and it's clearly a wearable item. Sherman's Marchers seem to me to be boots or shoes, right? Sherman was a famous Union general who led what is called the March to the Sea, or Sherman's March to the Sea, where he at the end of the war, it was towards the end of the war, he marched through the South, burning and destroying city after city in a kind of take no prisoner. Well, no, he took prisoners. People fled him, but he burned Atlanta famously. So uh, Sherman's marchers, you notice I don't say what they do. I don't give them powers. That's for designers to do. If you want to say what they do, that's okay. In my experience, designers don't particularly appreciate it when you writers give them suggestions. They'll take them and they'll go, okay, whatever. Just write the names. So I imagine Sherman's marchers might uh, make you move faster, give you 30% movement speed or something. Or since Sherman burned everything on the way to the sea, maybe whenever you get hit while you're wearing Sherman's marchers, uh, whoever hits you takes some fire damage. Or maybe uh, uh, everything within a certain radius of you takes fire damage, right? Those would be really powerful boots. Rules are similar. Shorter is always better. You can include a description of what they do. It's not necessary. But if I get a sense of what that thing is, then from the actual name, that's probably a better thing than having to explain it. There are two things you have to evoke. One is the American Civil War, and one is an item that is carried or worn or equipped somehow. If you don't know anything about the American Civil War, feel free to internet it up as much as you want. Google away or Bing. And as usual, include 3. If you include more than 3, this was another thing. A couple people just gave me 5, 6, whatever. I only look at the first 3. So if your best one is number 5, it wasn't the top 3. It's just to be fair. I don't want to have to wade through 25 of them to say, oh, this one was good. 3 is a fair amount, is fair cop. So, any questions? It's due Thursday at midnight. And again, if you're taking more than a half hour to do this, you're probably overthinking it. 2 points. It's not going to make or break you. Okay. Okay. Next thing. Reading quiz 3 is up. That's due Friday at midnight. Just like last week. This one includes, I threw a Tacoma question on there because we talked about Tacoma yesterday. But Passage and Facade and the chapters in the Glassner. So be aware of that. And finally, D&D. Let's talk about D&D. I've included a link to a PDF here that comes from Wizards of the Coast that actually came out in 2018. And it's a real kind of, you've never played before, here's how to play D&D kind of stuff. It only includes the 4 basic classes, which are Wizard, Rogue, Fighter, and Cleric. There are many more classes. If you don't end up being any of those 4 things, one of the things you can do is click on this link, which will get you to this site, which is the 5th edition SRD, and I used to know what SRD stood for. I think it's the Standard Rules Depository. And this is basically all the stuff that are in the D&D books. So, for instance, here's the Player's Handbook. It's a book. It's a big book. I think it costs like 30-40 bucks. Woo! It's got cool layout. It's got cool pictures. Um, they've copyrighted the layout and the pictures. They have not copyrighted the rules, or at least they've got some other agreement with everybody, basically, so that third parties can use the rules to make third party stuff. It's a systems reference document. Thank you, Karen. Um, uh, the the rules themselves, other people can build on them, and it benefits the company Wizards of the Coast to have other people making stuff that people use for D&D. So they put all the rules out there. So for instance, if you're playing a barbarian, you can click on barbarian. We've got a picture, but if I look at barbarian here, classes, barbarian, the picture is a different dude. It's a different picture. This is the copyrighted Wizards of the Coast barbarian. That's a totally different barbarian. So you can learn all about what makes a barbarian, right? And you can read all these things. If you happen to be some kind of wizard or cleric, you can look at the spells, say cleric spells. You're going to be second level, so you're not going to get anything, I think, above first or second level. I think you get second level spells at second level. So you're going to look at the spells that you have available to you. You don't get second level spells, thank you. So cantrips and first level spells are there for you, and you can check out what they all do and decide which spells you're taking for the adventure. In general, the oh, well, let me get to that. So what character are you going to play, right? So what we've got a bunch of pre-generated characters. These are kind of standard characters. They don't have names. They just have race and class. You can make up a name for them. If we go, let's see, do I already have this up? No. Open in a new tab. So this is a Google Drive folder with looks like 12 different characters. So once you get in a group, exchange email about when you're going to play. One of the things I do when I'm DMing, I say, hey, here's go to the folder, tell me what you want to play. First person who calls whatever gets that character. Okay. Okay, that's fine, Stanley. It's fine. So this, well, let me just pull up the human fighter because he's the simplest. This will have all the kind of stats and some background about who you are, and what fighters can do down here. So this is the start of your character, which is fine. If you want to change things like, you crave adventure like most people crave food and drink, you can say, you can make up your own background. You lived in any number of cities and villages during your time in the military, but no one place has ever truly felt like home, and you have slowly come to the conclusion that this is according to your preferences. If you decide that you were a farmer who picked up a sword because farming was too boring, and you've been you went in with a bunch of bandits, but then left them because you couldn't stomach the cruelty of banditry, and ever since then you've been defending the weak and downtrodden. That's fine too. You can make up your own story. It's fine. The thing you're looking for here is kind of the rules stuff, the numbers stuff. Okay, so pick one, let your DM know and let your fellow players know so they don't pick the same thing. In fact, once somebody has picked something, that one's off limits. There's 12 different characters. There are only 4 or 5 players each. You should be able to all be happy with a character without duplicating them. Okay, so then you are going to go to Roll20, which is also linked. And you'll see here, this is my Roll20 profile. This is the adventure that I ran last night. I assume DMs, you guys had a good time last night. You ran the adventure. You played the adventure with Ian, and everything worked out okay, or didn't? I don't know. Ian just said it was fine. Was it okay? DMs? Yeah. Okay. Nobody killed. Well, you didn't get angry with each other. Hopefully. We're going to do that today, Sugi. Okay, so you're going to go here and you're going to make an account. It's free. The one thing that your DM needs to know is what email address you made the account with, because they need an email address. Roll20 needs an email address, and then in order to invite you to the game, they need that email address, right? So that they can invite you to the game. Usually, or what I did this past couple of days was say, hey, pick a character and tell me what the email address, and you can sign up with your WPI email address. You can sign up with your Yahoo throwaway account, your Hotmail. I don't care. Your DM needs to know what email address you use. That's it. And then they can invite you to the game. So once you signed up for Roll20, they will invite you to the game. And in fact, let me go here. So you can see here, these are my players, right? They're from the 3 o'clock class. I invited them, and I could invite more. This is where the DM invites their players, but again, you need to know who's playing, whose email it is. So I'm going to launch this game. It's all free, by the way. Takes a little bit. This is just see, we have a chat window here on the right. We have this is just a piece of art so that we can talk while we're connected. But what you want to do is go over here to the journal. And your DM should have created a character for you. It's a couple clicks, DMs. If you need help, you can ask Ian or ask me. And so I'm just going to pull up, let's pull up Tinker. So once it's assigned to you, you'll be able to edit this, players. You can write your bio, you can type in your whole backstory. That's fine. Your DM will assign you a token. Generally, I said, hey, is this one okay? Is this one cool with you? And they were like, yeah, that's great. I like it. I tried to pick cool tokens for them. And that's going to be your marker when you get on maps and stuff, and you'll be able to move that around. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to click on this tab here, the character sheet. And actually, there's a lot of spell stuff. Oh, here's core. So over in core here, I just called this Tiefling Warlock when I made it. And she went in and changed the name to Tinkerbell, put in the class, the race, what level they are, and basically all of this stuff you should be able to find on the PDF of the pre-gen characters. I'm using pre-gens here just to make things shorter, because otherwise, when I used to have new players make characters with the DMs, they'd have to do like a 2-hour session with their players just to make characters, and then another 4 hours to play the game, and it became a lot. So pre-gens is where we go. And then you put in your basic stats. So let me go back to open link unit. Oh, it's here. Okay, so here's a Drow Rogue. You can see they have a strength of 8. Actually, I'm going to go back and pull up this Tiefling Warlock, which is right here. Strength of 8, Dex of 15, Con of 14, Int of 13, Wisdom of 10, and Charisma of 16. And if we go over here, 8, 15, 14, 13, 10, and 16, right? They put those numbers in. And that's basically what I want you to do, is go and take this this PDF and convert it and input all the oh, did I lose the share? Oh, boogers. Here we are. Alt H, there we go. Yeah, see, Tinkerbell. And switch over to this, and put all the stuff in, so that here's the kind of wonderful thing. If your DM says, hey, make a charisma check, you click on this and it rolls charisma, right? Very nice. And it automates things very quickly. This is for advantage and disadvantage. That's a D&D thing. Sometimes you'll have advantage, and that means you roll 2d20 and you take the better one. Sometimes you'll have disadvantage, and that also means you roll 2d20, but then you take the worse one, right? So if you've got it all in here right, like this, let's see, initiative. If I roll initiative, and your DM will say, hey, everybody roll initiative. You roll initiative. And there they rolled a 2, which meant they got a 3 total. This gives you all the bonuses once it's all in here correctly. Work with your DM to get it all in here correctly. Okay? Once you've got it all in here correctly, take a screenshot. If you wanted, so here's all the biographical stuff, and here's spells, and what spells you have available to you. It's good to have them here so you can read and see what's good for when you're in a situation, last night, well, I don't want to give anything away, but they use some weird spells. They use some spells in weird ways that aren't exactly what they were for. And it actually turned out really well. It was really creative. So having your spells in there as a quick reference is a good way to be able to use things. So once you take a screenshot, go back here and give me the screenshot. And that's 4 points. Okay. Upload a JPEG or a PNG. And it's just so that I know you guys all looked over your character and got it into Roll20. That's it. Okay. So that's due Friday at midnight. And you should have played D&D by Monday. How much needs to be visible in the screenshot? I'll take basically the first page here, that the core thing. If you have spells, give me 2. Give me one with the spells and one with the core. I don't need the bio so much, but core and spells. Some people don't have spells, some people do. All right. So either 1 page or 2. Right. That's it. We have attributes and abilities. You can put all this stuff in here. I think she started and didn't finish. No, it's all in here from the character sheet. Okay, so next Monday, you should have all played the game so that we can talk about what happened, and we're going to compare and contrast. So also DMs. Once you've played, once you've finished, give them the link of where to go buy the adventure. Because I'd like everybody to read the adventure after they've played it. You don't have to read it until next Tuesday. I will make it all available to everyone come next Monday. But, if you play Thursday night, there's no reason why you can't go buy the adventure. The adventure is $4, remember. No reason why you can't go buy the PDF and read the thing through over the weekend. I don't care. It's just I don't want to make it generally available until I'm sure that everybody has played, right? Okay, so let's go to home, and I'm going to switch to student view so I can see what you see. And you all, if you can open it up Canvas and go to people, and then go over to groups. And I'm sorry, I wish they had a clearer interface for all of this, but if you go down a bit, you'll see D&D playing group 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I've added a DM to each, and I've made them group leader. I'm not sure what powers that confers upon you, but DMs, please only use your powers for good once you explore them. So there are 25 people in the class. We've already got 5 people as DMs. So I've limited these groups to a total of 5, which means 4 players and a DM, which would be 25. So first off, DMs, if you could put in the chat when you're thinking of playing, or when you absolutely can't play, right? So if you have to do something Saturday night, say, I'm not playing Saturday night, but I'll work with everybody to schedule something. I'd rather play Sunday afternoon. I or I really, the only time I can play is Thursday night. Hope everybody can play Thursday night. Only join my group if you can play Thursday night, right? We got done in about 4.5 hours last night. I don't know. When did you guys get done? Were you done by the 4 hour mark? By 11. Okay. We were wrapping up at like 10 after 11, and then everybody still wanted to talk a little bit. So we cut out at 11:30. So it should be about 4 hours for everybody planning your week. So DMs, when are you thinking of playing? Let everybody know, and then please join a group. Ben says on the weekend. So if you want to join Ben, figure it's going to be this weekend. Anybody else? Everybody else's Wednesday works best for Jake. Jake's free Thursday and Friday night. Can make the weekend work. Weekends and Wednesdays for Jaden. Griffin says Thursday night through Sunday, anytime. So I'm going to refresh. Let's see how we're doing. Okay. Griffin has his group. No one else does. D&D. Is anybody else listening? I think that Friday and Saturday should work for Stanley. Jump in there. Nobody's jumping in. Nope. Jaden's got 2. Please. I know you're all here. I can see you on Zoom. Let's go down. Nobody's joining groups. Oh, Jaden's full. Yeah, Jaden's full and Griffin's full. Stanley doesn't have anybody. Ben has 1. And Jake doesn't have anybody. Come on, people, get in there. Okay, well, I'm not gonna. I think that Friday and Saturday. Okay, if you guys don't want to join yet, that's okay. I'm gonna stop that share. Please. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 by 5. There are 23 people here in the meeting. So it's not like you're not here. Go join a group. I will start assigning people. If people, I see 23. Oh, 21. Yeah, you're right, because of Karen and I. So over the next 24 hours, please join a group. I will send out an email to, or at least a Canvas notification. Everybody, please join a group. Sooner you join a group, sooner you can get a character, sooner you can get the character sheet done, and sooner you can get together and play. Okay? Yeah, exactly, Ben. Nope, I'm waiting for Jared to say something. DM should drop their emails, maybe. Well, you can contact everybody through Canvas, right? you can just click on each other and send Canvas messages, and send your email through Canvas. I'd rather not everybody publish their email to the general chat. I think that could go badly. So I am going to leave student view. D&D playing groups. Let's see. Okay, things are looking up. I think everybody who's here has joined. Stanley's got 3 players. Ben has 2, and Jake has 1. So remember, DMs, as far as you're concerned, you have already completed this assignment. As soon as you put in your character sheets, you get your 4 points. Also, it's let me just double check how much things are worth. To play D&D, it's worth 6 points. DMs, when you have your group has played, please send me an email with everyone's names, and say my group played, and that way I can give everybody credit. Tell me if anyone was a jerk. I'll give them half credit. Okay. So 3 students still have not selected. Yeah. But there are people missing. So I will put out an announcement. So DMs are Griffin Achu, Stanley Cliche, I don't know. Ben Martin, Jake Matthews, and Jaden Smith Bourne. Okay. Check on Canvas. If you go to the people area, you should be able to see everyone. Cliche. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Yes. Okay. Okay. So we're as together as we can be about D&D. I will put out an announcement. Actually, let me do it right now. Announcement. Plus announcements. In D&D group. Well, I'll do that later. I only have 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Okay, so at this point, you should have played Facade and Passage. By the way, copy. Now that you are people of the world, let's see if this shows up. You can understand this tweet. I keep seeing jokes like that, and I'm like, my students now understand this, right? So let's talk about Passage first, because it's short, and I only have so much time. Passage is 5 minutes long. It's by a guy named Jason Rohrer. Jason Rohrer is considered an artist whose medium is games. He has had museum exhibits of his games. Passage, while it wasn't his first game, it was the first game of his to become kind of famous. He is a regular at the Game Developers Conference. It was canceled this year, but every year in San Francisco, there's the largest gathering of game developers in the world called the GDC, or the Game Developers Conference. And one of the things that they used to do, they stopped doing it, is they would have uh, uh, Karen, could you help Annie on Discord? She wants to know, could you give her the link to the people page to sign up? Because she keeps asking who's a DM. Okay, so at GDC they have this thing called the Game Design Challenge, or they used to, where they put out, they invite 4 famous game developers or game designers to and they give them each a prompt, and everybody's supposed to make a game based on the prompt. So one year the prompt was My First Time. Take that as you will. So everybody made or designed games about losing their virginity. So the year in question, different things happen at this. So sometimes people come in with, a whole presentation, a pitch presentation, like a designer would for a publisher, to say, hey, this is the game I want to make, give me money and I'll go make that. So sometimes they do pitches. Sometimes they would have complete games. So for instance, the last time that the Game Design Challenge was run, the prompt was The Last Game Ever. And Jason Rohrer was one of the developers, the designers invited to be part of it. And he actually made a game. What he did was he wrote a program that would procedurally generate a board game. Without knowing what that game was, he never looked at the game. He had the game fabricated in titanium, right? And then, so no human being knew what the game was. The game was created by a program. Humans fabricated the pieces for it, but no human saw all the pieces and the rules in the same place. So no one knew what it was. It went into a box, also made of titanium. And a helicopter flew out into the Nevada desert and dropped it at a random spot in the desert. The idea being that no human actually knows where or what this game is at this point. And someday, maybe 10 years from now, maybe 1,000 years from now, somebody, whether a human or a sentient bear, or a robot that comes after us, once we've all died of pandemics, someone will find this game and say, this is the last game that humans ever made, because it survived, because it's made entirely of titanium. That's the kind of thing that Jason Rohrer does. He also, one year it was losing my religion was the prompt. And so what he did was he made a mod for Minecraft where a version of Minecraft fit entirely on a flash drive. And you would take this flash drive and you would plug it into a computer, and it would run Minecraft, and you would play Minecraft until you died. And maybe you walked 10 feet and got killed by a creep. Maybe you made a giant castle, right? But the idea was that you played it until you died, and then it would save what you made in the Minecraft world on the flash drive. Then you took it out and you gave it to somebody else. And so his idea was that down the line, there would be an entire kind of legend of the first people to play made this. We're not sure where that came from, that their civilizations would rise and fall in this Minecraft server. And it would keep moving generation to generation until the legends of the original, the earliest makers would move into the stories would move to legend, and legend to some sort of religion, losing my religion. What actually happened was he went to the game design challenge and he explained this, and he then said, I have made my thing, and I played until I died, and here is the flash drive. This is what I want you to do with it. I want you to go home, play it, and as soon as you go finish playing it, give it to somebody else and keep it going. And he gave it to a random guy in the audience. And that guy, right after GDC, he went to Hawaii. And he, I think he was from Hawaii. I don't know. I forget. I don't really, Hawaii makes no difference. But basically what he did was he put up an eBay auction to say, hey, I've got this Jason Rohrer thing. I will give it to whoever bids the highest. And I work for a nonprofit, and I'm trying to raise money for my nonprofit. So bid and be part of this Jason Rohrer art game project. And the highest bidder gets it, and my nonprofit gets a big donation. This made some people go, oh, well, that's really nice. And other people basically said, that's not what he said to do. He said just to give it to somebody. Why are you turning this into a money-making thing? And so an actual former WPI person got really incensed by this and started gathering a coalition of people who couldn't pay the asking price alone, but everybody chipped in $20, and we're gonna, if you chipped in $20, you'll get it eventually. We're gonna buy it by bidding highest. And what it became was, these people were the conservatives of the religion. They branded this new guy a heretic. He was not doing what God Jason Rohrer intended. He had made up his own rules. He had formed a schism in exactly what was supposed to be done with this. So it was pretty cool. Jason Rohr's games get like this, and I am over time. So we'll pick this up on Thursday. Everybody get a group. Okay? Okay, thank you.